You know what separates a close call from a body bag? About 6 inches. 6 inches of ignoring what the mountain was screaming at you the whole time. This isn't a safety lecture. This is about the gap between what you see and what you admit you're seeing. 6 red flags that were there all along, waving right in front of your face while you talked yourself into one more run. Red flag number 1. The sound changes. You're skinning up or traversing across and you hear it. That whoomph. Like someone dropped a heavy blanket on the snow 50 feet away. Or the snow sounds hollow under your skis, like you're skiing on a drumskin stretched too tight. This isn't subtle. This is the snowpack collapsing under its own weight, layers settling, weak points giving up. This is the mountain saying out loud that what's under you isn't holding hands anymore. Every avalanche course on Earth teaches this on day 1. You know what it means. But here's what happens in your head. You think maybe it was just that one spot. Maybe it's fine over here. You've heard that sound before and nothing happened. Your buddy's already 50 yards ahead and he's fine. The run's already open, so patrol must have checked it. You're not even in avalanche terrain. Not really. Just this one steep roll. It's easy to keep going. And maybe you're right. Maybe you ski it and nothing happens, and that sound gets filed under false alarm, which makes it even easier to ignore next time. Until the one time the slab lets go and you're swimming in cement, wondering why you didn't listen to the thing you definitely heard. By the way, my name is Patrick. If you like the sort of content I'm making here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps out a lot. Now back to the video. Red flag number 2. The run's empty. It's 10:30 on a Saturday, Bluebird Pow Day, and this run's been open for an hour. You drop in and it's untracked. Not just fresh, untouched. You're thinking you just scored. Secret stash. Everyone's too dumb to hike this far, or they're lapping the main bowl. You're proud, but you shouldn't be. Because if it's this good and nobody's touching it, there's a reason. Locals know something. Maybe it's wind-loaded on this aspect. Maybe there's an ice layer under the fresh from yesterday's melt freeze and it skis like garbage. Maybe patrol opened it because they had to, because it's on the map, but everyone who works here knows it's a shit show today. Or maybe it's just a little too steep, a little too committing, and everyone who thought about it took one look and said, not today. You're not special for being here. You're the only one who didn't get the memo. But you don't think that. You think you're clever. You think you earned this. You drop in. And maybe it's fine. Maybe you were right, and everyone else missed out. Or maybe halfway down you hit that ice sheet and your edges let go, and you tomahawk 200 vertical feet into a tree and spend the rest of the season wondering if those untracked lines were worth the shoulder surgery. Red flag number 3. Tracks that stop. You're following someone's line and it just ends. Mid-slope, no transition, no obvious reason. Just turns and then nothing. Or the tracks veer hard, skiers left and bail out into the trees when the fall line keeps going straight. You've got 2 options here. Option 1, that person knew something you don't. They saw something, felt something, heard something, and they said nope and got out. Option 2, they fell. They fucked up. They're below you somewhere in the trees, nursing a knee. Either way, those tracks are a message. Turn around or proceed with full knowledge that someone before you decided this wasn't it. But you don't think like that. You think maybe they were a beginner. Maybe they chickened out. Maybe they're not as good as you. Maybe there's a cat track exit you don't know about. You invent a story where those tracks stopping makes sense in a way that lets you keep going. You ski past the question mark. And maybe it's fine. Maybe they did chicken out. Or maybe you find out real quick why they stopped, because there's a rock band hidden under the roll, or the slope goes from 30 degrees to 45 and it's sun-crusted bulletproof and you're not ready. The tracks were a breadcrumb trail that said this far, no further. You just decided you were special enough to rewrite the ending. Red flag number 4. Your gear's acting weird. Your skis were floating. Now they're hooking. Your edges were gripping. Now they're sliding out. Your goggles were clear. Now you can't see shit. Temperature dropped. Sun moved. Snow changed. Moisture built up. Something shifted. Conditions aren't static. You know this. You know that powder turns to mashed potatoes, that groomers get scraped to ice by noon, that wind can strip a slope or load it in 20 minutes. But you're in the middle of a run, or you're committed to a line, or you're trying to keep up with your group, and your brain says it's just this turn, it's just this section, it'll get better lower down. You adjust, you compensate, you muscle through it, Except your equipment is the translator between you and the mountain, and when it stops working the way it was working 5 minutes ago, that's the mountain changing the terms. And if you're not reassessing in real time, you're skiing on yesterday's assumptions. I've seen people yard sail because they didn't acknowledge that the snow they were on wasn't the snow they started on. Skis don't lie. If your edges aren't biting, it's not because you suddenly forgot how to ski. It's because the surface changed and you're still pretending it didn't. Red flag number 5. Everyone's sending it, and you don't want to be the one who says no. Your buddy just straight-lined it. Your partner just dropped the chute. The group's already at the bottom hooting, and you're at the top, and it's your turn. And maybe this is in your wheelhouse. Maybe you've done stuff like this. But maybe today you're tired, or the light's flat, or you tweaked your knee 2 runs ago and it's achy, or you just have this feeling in your stomach that says not this one. Doesn't matter, because the pressure isn't coming from the terrain, it's coming from the audience. You don't want to be the weak link. You don't want to hear the chirp. You don't want to hike back out and have someone ask if you're okay in that voice that really means are you scared? So you go. And here's the cold truth. Most of the time, you get away with it. You make the line. You stomp the landing. You ski the run scared, but you ski it. And everyone high-fives at the bottom, and the feeling goes away, and you tell yourself, see, you were fine. It was in your head. Which makes it worse, because now you've learned that ignoring that voice works. You've trained yourself that the anxiety is the problem, not the situation. So next time the voice is quieter, and the time after that, you don't hear it at all, until the one time you're actually right to be scared, and you've silenced the only alarm system you have. Red flag number 6. You're tired. You're done. Your legs are cooked. Your focus is drifting. You're cold, or you're dehydrated, or you've been at altitude for 6 hours, and your brain's running on fumes. You know you should call it. But there's one more run. One more lap. The sun's still up. You paid for a full day. Your friends are doing one more. The powder's still good. You've got time. And you're right, you do have time. What you don't have is the reaction speed you had 3 hours ago. You don't have the leg strength to pull yourself out of trouble. You don't have the mental sharpness to read terrain on the fly. Fatigue kills you slow. It doesn't blow out your knee on the first turn. It just makes you a half-second late on every adjustment, a little less stable in crud, a little more likely to catch an edge because you're not picking your feet up all the way. The statistics don't lie. Injuries spike at end of day, last chair, last run, last lap, because everyone's running on empty and pretending they're not. Your body's giving you the signal. It's begging you to stop, and you're bargaining with it like you can negotiate with physics. Here's where it gets heavy. You're not ignoring these red flags because you're stupid. You're ignoring them because you're experienced enough to know that most of the time, nothing happens. You've skied through weird sounds and been fine. You've dropped into empty runs and scored. You've followed your friends into shit you weren't ready for and survived. You've done one more run on fumes 100 times and made it down. The mountain's been talking to you your whole life, and most of the time it's bluffing. Except it's not bluffing, you're just playing Russian roulette with an empty chamber 99 times out of 100, and you've mistaken luck for skill. Pattern recognition doesn't mean seeing the signs, it means believing them when you see them. It means accepting that the mountain doesn't owe you a warning shot. And the truly humbling part? The people who are actually elite at this, the ones who've skied 10,000 days, who grew up in the mountains, who guide for a living, they're the ones who turn around the most. They're the ones who bail on a line because something feels off. They're not fearless. They're fluent. They speak the language so well, they don't need to translate it in their heads. They hear the whoomph, and they're already retreating. They see the empty run, and they don't need to ask why. They feel their legs getting sloppy, and they're on the chairlift heading to the bar. The gap between good and great isn't who can ski the gnarliest line, it's who knows when not to. You're going to see these red flags again. Probably this season, maybe this week, and you're going to have a choice. You can treat them like suggestions, like maybes, like things that apply to other people, or you can treat them like the non-verbal language they are. The mountain's not interested in your resume. It doesn't care how many days you have. It doesn't grade on a curve. It just speaks. And the only question is whether you're listening or whether you're too busy talking yourself into one more run. The difference between a story and a statistic is whether you admit it. Hey there, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a comment telling me what you'd like to see covered next. This was Patrick, And as always, thanks for watching.